After a thrilling final at the Rome Masters 1000, Carlos Alcaraz emerged victorious against his greatest rival, Jannik Sinner. But what generated the most buzz wasn't just the Spaniard's dominance on the court. It was an Italian phrase that lit up social media: "I'll surely beat you in Paris." Was it a joke, a challenge, or a veiled warning? One thing is certain: with Roland Garros just around the corner, that message has only intensified a rivalry that is already defining a new era in tennis. The Rome final was a show of authority from Carlos Alcaraz. The Mercian was solid, tactical, and ruthless in defeating Sinner in straight sets. With this triumph, he not only claimed his 7th Masters 1000 title but also overtook Zverev in the rankings, becoming the new world number 2. This means he and Sinner, the current number 1, will not face each other until a potential final at Roland Garros. And that's where the jaw-dropping phrase comes in. During the trophy ceremony, after congratulating Carlos and acknowledging his dominance on clay, Sinner dropped a bomb with a smile: "Although I'll surely beat you in Paris." A phrase that some interpreted as a friendly wink, and others as a direct message with the scent of revenge. The reality is that Alcaraz has the recent edge in this rivalry. In their last 4 meetings, including the epic semi-final clash at Roland Garros 2024, the Spaniard has always come out on top. And not only that, he's found a way to neutralize Sinner's biggest weapons, especially on clay, where Carlos feels comfortable, creative, and in control. Sinner, meanwhile, is still searching for an effective formula on that surface. But if there's one thing that defines Jannik, it's his ability to learn fast and rise to big occasions. His return to Rome after a 3-month suspension was a demonstration of character. And although he fell in the final, he showed he's getting closer and closer to his best form. "Today I gave it everything I had," he said after the match, with sincerity and respect. However, the phrase directed at Carlitos makes it clear he's not giving up. And that his sights are firmly set on Paris with one clear goal: revenge. A hypothetical final at Roland Garros between the two would be the first Grand Slam final for this new version of the Big Two. And it would take place on the Philippe Chatrier court, over 5 sets, with all the pressure in the world. A stage where legends are made, and where the Alcaraz-Sinner rivalry could reach a whole new level. With a simple phrase, Jannik Sinner has added fuel to the fire of the most exciting rivalry in tennis today. "I'll surely beat you in Paris" wasn't just a joke, it was a promise, an elegant provocation, and a statement of intent from someone who isn't content with being number 1. He wants to prove it on the world's most prestigious clay court. Alcaraz, for his part, remains focused and respectful. He knows the real challenge begins now. Because while he was dominant in Rome, in Roland Garros, nothing will come easy. Carlos Alcaraz lifted the Masters 1000 trophy in Rome with a brilliant performance, but his victory also brought attention to a controversy that has nothing to do with a racket. While the Mercian celebrated his trophy and the €985,030 prize, the tournament was mired in a renewed debate over gender pay inequality. Angelo Bonaghi, president of the Italian Tennis Federation, didn't stay quiet. In addition to criticizing the Grand Slam's monopoly, he made it clear that the Rome tournament wants more. But has a lot to fix at home. Rome witnessed a high-level tournament, with Jasmine Paolini and Carlos Alcaraz as champions. However, the sporting joy was overshadowed by a reality that can no longer be ignored: the economic gap between the men's and women's tournaments remains evident. While Alcaraz received nearly €1 million for his title, Paolini took home €877,390, more than €100,000 less. This disparity has reignited controversy. A few years ago, the Italian Tennis Federation, FITP, pledged to achieve equal prize money by 2025. But that promise remains unfulfilled. This year, the men's tournament distributed €8,055,385, while the women's side received only €6,099,593. The official justification was that the women's tournament doesn't have mandatory status, something the FIT claims justifies lower investment. But the data contradict that excuse. The tournament featured all the top WTA stars. The competition level was extremely high, and Jasmine Paolini's title, alongside her doubles crown with Sara Errani, proved that women's tennis is not only on par, but also upholds part of the event's current prestige. In the middle of this controversy, Angelo Bonaghi didn't just talk about money, but also about the future. He announced that after the 2026 edition, construction would begin to equip the Campo Central with a retractable roof, scheduled to open in 2028. The goal is clear: to continue modernizing the tournament and prepare to compete head-to-head with the 4 Grand Slams. Bonaghi even went further, asking that Rome be granted the same status as Roland Garros, something that has sparked division among players, the media, and fans. And while such requests are being made, criticism also mounts. How can Rome aspire to Grand Slam status when it hasn't even achieved equal prize money between men and women? What message does it send when a local champion like Paolini earns less than her male counterpart? Carlos Alcaraz, for his part, remains outside of this controversy. He did his job on the court, defeating Musetti in the semifinals and Sinner in a final he dominated tactically and mentally. But his success has unintentionally spotlighted a disparity that, in 2025, can no longer be normalized. The Rome Masters 1000 has been a sporting success, but also a wake-up call. While Carlos Alcaraz's victory is celebrated, the numbers reveal that equality is still an unfulfilled promise. The excuse of non-mandatory tournaments no longer holds in a circuit where the level and commitment of the women is undeniable. If Rome wants to aspire to be the fifth Grand Slam, it must start by leveling the playing field at home. And that begins by doing justice for those who also make history. Even if the paycheck doesn't reflect it. Carlos Alcaraz hasn't just won the Rome Masters 1000. He's also won a quiet but symbolic battle off the court. He has now surpassed Jannik Sinner on the list of the highest paid tennis players in history. At just 22 years old, the Mercian has broken into the top 10 of that exclusive list, pulling off a new sorpasso over his main rival on tour. This financial success, added to his dominance on clay and his push in the ATP rankings, confirms that Alcaraz is not only playing at the highest level. He's also making history. Carlos Alcaraz's victory over Jannik Sinner in the Rome Masters 1000 final was emphatic, 7-6, 6-1. A performance that made clear who currently rules on clay. But beyond the points and the title, that triumph carries extra weight. Alcaraz has overtaken Sinner in total career prize money. With the €985,030 he earned by winning at the Foro Italico, the Spaniard now has a total of $41,835,058 in career prize money. That figure makes him the 8th highest paid tennis player in history, surpassing Sinner, who drops to 9th with $40,069,385. This statistic not only reflects Alcaraz's consistent success at major tournaments but also his ability to remain competitive even in seasons with physical setbacks. Despite missing Madrid, he came to Rome and dominated. And while Sinner remains a formidable rival, the mental, tactical, and experience gap in finals still tips the scale in Carlitos' favor. But the Alcaraz-Sinner rivalry isn't just about money. Right now, they are locked in a direct race for the world #1 ranking. Sinner has led the ATP for over a year, but Alcaraz has been there before. And wants to reclaim the top spot. Everything will be decided at the next major event, Roland Garros. The Spaniard will be defending the title in Paris, which means that if he wins again, he'll add 2,000 points. While any misstep by Sinner, who has never made it past the semifinals at that tournament, could completely shift the rankings. The duel between them continues to deliver thrilling chapters, and clay will once again be the perfect battleground for this war. And while the two have deep respect for one another, every gesture, every result, every stat adds tension to a rivalry that many already compare to the historic one between Nadal and Federer. The difference here is that the dominance is evenly split. And the numbers are changing fast. Carlos Alcaraz doesn't just dominate on the court, he's beginning to dominate in the numbers too. Surpassing Sinner in the list of the highest paid players in tennis history is yet another milestone for a player who still has his entire career ahead of him. And while the ATP ranking remains in play, this new sorpasso makes it clear that Carlitos is setting the pace both on and off the circuit. Roland Garros will be the next big stage, and everything points to another epic showdown between the world #1 and #2. Where the title, ranking points, and pride will all be on the line. Do you think Carlos Alcaraz will reclaim the world #1 spot at Roland Garros? Or will Sinner defend his position at the top? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, subscribe for more content about the new great tennis rivalry. And get ready, because the best is yet to come. See you in the next video. Carlos Alcaraz has done it again. Champion in Rome, against the world #1, and in a near-perfect final. But beyond the title, the Mercian has achieved something just as valuable. A huge dose of confidence for the challenge ahead. Roland Garros. With a clear and calm message, Alcaraz hinted that he's ready to defend his crown in Paris. What did the champion say after winning in Rome? Why does he consider this victory so special? And most importantly, how is he mentally preparing for the biggest challenge of the season? Right after the final at the Foro Italico, Carlos Alcaraz didn't talk about revenge or records. He talked about confidence. After weeks of physical struggles due to injury, the Mercian acknowledged that this victory came at the perfect time. Winning the way I did in Rome gives me a lot of confidence for Roland Garros, he said. And it's no wonder. The Rome title was his first at that tournament, but it came with a special flavor. He defeated Jannik Sinner, the local idol and current world number 1. In a final he dominated both tactically and mentally. I'm proud of how I handled the match. It wasn't a roller coaster, I kept the level the whole time, he stated, showing a competitive maturity that's becoming more and more evident. He also admitted that this win was more than just a sporting triumph. We were very united all week, my team and my family. Winning here, after everything we've been through, was incredible, he explained. With the trophy in hand, Alcaraz now looks toward his next goal, defending his title at Roland Garros. And while he plans to take a few days to rest before traveling to Paris, his mind is already focused on the French capital. I'll take a few days to process what I've done, and then I'll focus on Roland Garros, he said. The win in Rome not only reaffirms his dominance on clay, but also gives him the mental boost he needs heading into the second Grand Slam of the year. And while his opponent in the final was a Sinner returning from suspension, Alcaraz was clear, the level he showed in this tournament was crazy. In Paris, he'll be even more dangerous. Tactically, he also took away valuable lessons. It was probably one of my best matches in terms of strategy. I know how I have to play against Sinner, think clearly, point by point, he said. And those words aren't random. In Paris, they could meet again, this time in a final that everyone is already waiting for. Carlos Alcaraz's victory in Rome goes far beyond a title. It's a sign that he's ready to return to the top of the tennis world. With his confidence intact, his body recovered, and his mind focused, he heads to Roland Garros as the defending champion. And one of the clear favorites. He knows it, his team knows it. And so does Sinner. If Rome was a tactical exhibition, Paris could be the ultimate battle of the clay season. Do you think Carlos Alcaraz can successfully defend his Roland Garros crown? Or will we witness another epic chapter in his rivalry with Sinner? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, subscribe for more analysis and highlights from the best of tennis. And get ready, because Paris will be the next great stage in this thrilling story. See you in the next video.